But hey, Blue, it looks like they're in, so let's go ahead and join these semi-final contenders.
All right, Tsubaki-chan with his again. I dare say this is literally the most aggressive team I've ever seen Tsubaki play. He's playing 𝗬𝗪𝗧, 𝗏𝗏, 𝗧𝗵𝗃. No Naga to be spotted. It's like everyone's just like, you know what, guys? Let's not play Naga this tournament.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
Just avoid Naga this tournament.
Where's the Sakus, right? Where's the Sakus we're so used to seeing from Tsubaki or other tamers of the like? But hey, you know what? 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏 going with a bit that we're used to seeing from the like of things like Tsubaki with the Golder and Nagas. I know Tsubaki was a fan of that. But hey, we'll see what goes down because 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏 going a bit more of the traditional like that Nagas, as you said. We'll see if that fares against the likes of Tsubaki's a bit more aggressive, more mid-rangey team. But the Volrun does get the respect ban for 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏, and Tsubaki, knowing what he has, doesn't want to deal with the water cannons, doesn't want to deal with the 𝗧𝗏𝗺, so does indeed ban that fire 𝗂𝘁.
The Rawrzyyy is picked up here for Tsubaki-chan's side. The 𝗧𝗏𝗺 as well for 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗃𝗏. So both players sort of playing for the second turn, I would say. At least for the most part, it looks like they're both playing for the second turn here. As Tsubaki, without Rawrzyyy, doesn't really have like the greatest pairing in the universe. Maybe picking up the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 just to guarantee that it doesn't get banned as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if both players made a double swap, or at least there was minimum pressure coming into the first round here. So Tsubaki really thinking about this, if the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 is worth the play.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the fire 𝗂𝘁 is definitely good against the 𝗧𝗏𝗺, but of course, as you said, the Volrun is there to pressure it out. So 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏 with a really strong opener. 𝗧𝗏𝗺 is such a good Temtem against the 𝗧𝗵𝗃, against 𝗏𝗏, against the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 even. So I think this was a really good opener for 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏, making Tsubaki really think about it. And Tsubaki does indeed decide to go for the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, so that toxic pressure. So Hypoxia Toxic Ink on the 𝗧𝗏𝗺, that's gonna do a good chunk of damage. So 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏 has to be careful, and it looks like both the fire 𝗂𝘁s have been taken out of the equation.
𝗧𝗏𝗺 still picked up. The 𝗂𝘁 being removed is actually important here, because you still have, the water moves are still devastating, and you want your 𝗧𝗏𝗺 to have a pretty solid game, and getting that solid game is better without that 𝗂𝘁. So 𝗬𝗪𝗧 picked up, and I was going to say it looks like they both have the same teams, but the only difference right now is Rawrzyyy and the Volrun, and the Golder is picked up, and I wouldn't be surprised if Naga was picked up here. 𝗬𝗪𝗧 picked up as well by Tsubaki, and 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗏 probably not the best this game, especially with the Naga still an open pickup here. Tsubaki, 𝗏𝗏, probably a stronger carry in this game, at least.
Yeah, it seems tough. The 𝗧𝗏𝗺 really pressures out the 𝗧𝗵𝗃. I see it, but 𝗧𝗏𝗺 also does it good against 𝗏𝗏, so I can see it going both ways. Maybe the dim-mac, simply the dim-mac on the 𝗧𝗵𝗃 might be swaying it for Tsubaki, as we're seeing it there. But 𝗏𝗏 didn't feel all that bad, but against these tanky matchup that 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏's bringing to this game, probably gonna try to rely on the dim-mac. Perhaps does have something like a Stonewall, but with this aggro team, I don't think we're playing a Stonewall on 𝗧𝗵𝗃. But here we are, the semifinals for this number 33 weekly tournament. Is Tsubaki-chan gonna find himself in familiar territory with the finals appearance for the, I don't know, 30th time? Or is 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏 gonna try to do a bit of an upset, bringing down the previous champ in Tsubaki? I mean, 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗏, no slouch himself. We all know the fantastic tamer he is. So let's jump into game number 1.
Absolutely. The trades here are actually quite decent. Volrun FG and Water Cannon Lily will do a lot of damage on the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, and vice versa. Rawrzyyy with a beta burst and the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 with a toxic ink can do a lot of damage. Hypoxia, as you mentioned, could also be quite the packing punch. And also, never discount the fact that both these players, they love playing for the second turn. They love playing for turn number 2, where you can get a lot of setup going. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some swaps, and in fact we do. Rishi swaps in the roller outright here just to absorb a lot of damage coming through, especially wind boost. The wind burst doing very little damage. It has a thick skin, is basically a natural coat there, absorbs that very easily. FG does come through for the trade. The toxic skin does absolutely nothing in the chamomile to absorb the toxic ink, and only doing 3% damage. This roller ate that like a champion.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful play. Tsubaki expecting the 𝗧𝗺 to stay in to try, do some good damage on the 𝗧𝗺𝗺. You don't get any damage on the 𝗧𝗺𝗺, but you barely take any damage. As you said, the thick skin mitigating all that wind damage from the 𝗧𝗺𝗺, and the chamomile taking those toxic ticks like a champ. But the cage coming out, only trapping the Voler and the 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 though.
Absolutely, the chamomile can't save you from a beta burst. Absolutely disgusting amounts of damage. FG trade goes that way, and the 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏, it just has the tsunami, and it does. Tsunami comes through, the Roller will get picked off there. The cage perhaps just trying to get a read off, but should have known that the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏 was not air specialist, so just keeping in the 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏, I guess. It is the only way to deal with the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏, to be fair. Only Toxic Tem on the field if that 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏 becomes Mr. Rishi's win condition. But the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏 still is EM. The 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏 on the opposite side of Tsubaki-chan could also just trade jab a blow for blow, right? So I'm not sure if I like that roller sacrifice. There's still 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well.
Yeah, Rotor being as slow as he is, maybe not the best to go against 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, because the most effective technique is that Stone Ball, but Stone Ball is just that one prio play, so against the likes of 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, probably not the most impactful. You would have to try to catch it on the swap in, so I think it was an okay sacrifice. I see what Mr. Rishi is doing though, trying to take care of the 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. However, once the 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is done, you also need to take care of this 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃, because 𝗧𝗺𝗃 being the only win Temtem for Tsubaki. Take a look at Mr. Rishi's team. That's a lot of toxic, so if you get rid of the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃, you're looking really good. So here we go, WCL. How much is it gonna do? Well over 50%.
Ooh, FG to follow through. The 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 gets picked off, but the trade, it just doesn't feel very good. The 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏 already below 50% HP just from a lot of brute damage. Valorant finally out of the cage.
Alright, so 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the chamomile coming out to play. Of course, nothing is online except that double gash, but that's the idea, starting to get things back online. Tsubaki knows 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃's running out of stamina. It goes down to another WCL, so here's where a bit of the mind games come in. Does Mr. Rishi want to just double into 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s here, WCL? But okay, so the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃 does retreat, so maybe keeping things straightforward. We'll see.
𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃 swapped in here for Tsubaki-chan. Valorant swapped out here for the for Mr. Rishi. The 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the water cutting lily synergy bonus. Smart move there. But the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃 will absorb that just fine. Double gash to follow. Does 14% damage. Actually, that's not trivial damage. But still, nonetheless, read by Tsubaki-chan there to swap in the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏𝗏. And this is looking very dangerous for Mr. Rishi's 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏.
Yeah.
Crystal Bite
It looks
water
like
lily could be dangerous.
It looks like Mr. Rishi felt really confident that the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃 was gonna stay in, but no, Tsubaki swaps to 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗏, so doesn't get any damage on this 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is ready. Everything is back online, so Crystal Bite, where are you headed? Most likely into the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃 spot, so here we are. WCL probably intended to 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 this time, and yes indeed, and look how much a second one would have done.
Crystal Bite to thrown down and almost kills the 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃. Humiliating slap to nullify the Shy Shield. Very smart play there. I'm not sure who read who in that situation, but they definitely made a net zero exchange there. Shy Shield for humiliating slap.
Very, very true. However, now it gets a bit tricky for Mr. Rishi. Sharp Stab is online, and 𝗬𝗪𝗧, being the fastest Temtem in the game, is gonna be able to outspeed as we just saw. So 𝗧𝗏𝗺 going down.
Revitalize to heal up the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 as well. Toxic Ink to do as much damage to the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 as possible, but poison immunity just doesn't do much. And I'm surprised actually, no Toxic Ink on the 𝗧𝗏𝗺. Perhaps assumed the swap out was happening?
Yeah, maybe thinking, yeah, maybe Mr. Rishi forgetting a bit about the sharp stabs there, because thinking maybe WCL plus the Toxic Ink was enough to try to threaten out the 𝗬𝗪𝗧. But no, the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 still with Crystal Bite online, so whichever direction it goes is going to do a good chunk of damage. Both of these Tems are a bit equal. You do have your 𝗏𝗏𝗀 with the hand fan in the back, so that's a clear answer to those two. We might be getting a swap here. I know 𝗧𝗏𝗺 definitely doesn't want to stay in. Maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗀, since it is neutrality, able to get no toxic ticks. But it's still a bit dangerous.
Bush is applied, just keeping the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 protected here. C-Bite continues to the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, and these Toxic Temps are not going to have a happy fun times later. Toxic Ink again, the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 now starting to take the damage. The Toxic Ticks to follow suit as well. And again, I mean, as you mentioned, the 𝗏𝗏𝗀 is still in the back, and Volan's really the only Temp to hold against it. So Rishi right now really on the back foot here.
Yeah, fortunately for Rishi, 𝗬𝗪𝗧 has run out of stamina. One more move will overexert him, so Tsubaki, maybe if he wants to keep things straightforward, will be swapping out the 𝗬𝗪𝗧. It could rest as well. Nothing really pressures it out, but of course Tsubaki does decide to retreat it since it was low. And out comes the 𝗏𝗏𝗀. What does Mr. Rishi want to do against it? Does he have an appropriate swap for this 𝗏𝗏𝗀? And I guess Volan feels okay. Just get those good noxious bombs onto it.
Revitalize to keep the 𝗏𝗏𝗀 healthy. This is the Apex Temp. This is the carry Temp, so to speak, here for the side of Tsubaki-chan. Of course, he still has a 𝗧𝗏𝗺 in the back, but life would be so much easier if the 𝗏𝗏𝗀 simply basically killed everything here. So keeping it healthy, keeping it alive is probably objective number one. Hypoxian now available, Tornado was available, and this Golder is not gonna like taking so much damage.
Yeah, and I like how he retreated 𝗬𝗪𝗧 there. That's the only additional water damage for that 𝗧𝗏𝗺. So Tornado coming out. Golder, barely 50%. So tanky Golder. A Shy Shield does come out onto Tsubaki. 𝗧𝗏𝗺 is a noxious bomb enough for this 𝗏𝗏𝗀. You need to take it out of the game, but no, 8% still standing.
But the Golder has a follow-through. Toxic Ink should kill it off, and there it goes. So 𝗏𝗏𝗀 did 50% damage on a Golder. That's pretty admirable considering how beefy this boy can potentially be. But now it is down to the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 and 𝗬𝗪𝗧 to seal the rest of this deal. And it's not looking so easy now. It's definitely not as trivial as previously. The 𝗧𝗏𝗺 does not have rock bottom. It was forced in this turn. So nothing there.
Yeah, things are feeling a bit even. The 𝗧𝗏𝗺 goes down to a couple target ticks, but the Bush able to recover some, and just to mitigate some special attack damage, you do get that Earth synergy with it. But up he goes. 𝗧𝗏𝗺 trying to be a big threat against Mr. Rishi's lineup.
For the Gatling!
The drill!
The attack! God, he just ran through the bush!
What?
Technology! The fucking master once again! I bet you Tsubaki-chan had no idea that was coming.
Yeah, I don't think any of us saw. I did not see a drill on the Volan. We got to check back on the team submissions. The drill on the Volan, we never saw it coming. So spicy stuff. We got the drill. How do you even say the drill rin? The drill rin.
The Driller-end. Oh.
Yeah, the Driller-end coming out, popping the bamboozle there, but hook kick coming out on that Volan. Can an uppercut close it out? And it does, actually. Impressive. So no HKS coming out there.
Toxic Ink to follow. 𝗧𝗵𝗶 absorbs it with kind, and that Valorant, my god, what a legendary drill strike. 𝗧𝗵𝗶, I mean, he's bringing it back. He's bringing the damage down. So impressive stuff there. That technology definitely not gonna fall to the wayside in the following turns if he does not survive this. And Rock Bottom will try and close the door on this comeback and kills the 𝗧𝗲𝗺. The 𝗂𝘀𝗶𝗴 will survive simply because it is a water temp. Water jet to strike the 𝗧𝗵𝗶, but it is not enough to kill. So 𝗂𝘀𝗃𝗃 should be able to seal this, and Tsubaki takes game 1.
Unless 𝗧𝗵𝗶 wants to try to make that 2-0 comeback, which we've seen it in the past, anything is possible. So it looks like the exact same bans from the previous game. So 𝗧𝗵𝗶 banning the Valorant, Tsubaki-chan banning that 𝗧𝗵𝗶, so makes sense. Has a lot of things that doesn't want to go up against that matchup. But 𝗧𝗵𝗶 starting off with the 𝗧𝗲, liked how it played last game, does start it with this game, so not too bad. Does Tsubaki want to change it up? I believe his was 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃 on his roster the previous game.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, 𝗧𝗲 opening pickup, of course. So, again, playing for the second turn here. Trying to mix it up.
Oh, and Tsubaki going with what worked the first time, right? So, 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃 was the opener for that second time, or for the first time. There it goes, picking it again, and it's the exact same opener. So we, if things play out the same way.
Yeah, both players now with greater information of what they'd like to play. And of course, a 𝗧𝗵𝗶 ban. Theoretically now, if we repeat everything, Tsubaki should lose.
That is true.
That heat up. So,
he
right
does
now,
have
Rishi...
the fire 𝗂𝗍 now, which that was the previous ban before, so maybe that makes it easier onto the 𝗧𝗲. But I don't know, with 𝗧𝗵𝗶's toxic teams, maybe realized that it was a bit easier to deal with the 𝗂𝗍 rather than the 𝗧𝗵𝗶, so already showing the adaptability coming out from these high level Tamers. So I'm liking that. But Tsubaki, one Temtem we did not see previously, it was the 𝗏𝗏, so let's see how much of an impact it can make in this game too.
Rishi playing for the opposite day strategy. So Naga is picked up with the Roller, with the 𝗀𝗪. This is the dynamic duo, the Rhyme squad. Tsubaki-chan will be have to playing in home field. Does have a 𝗂𝗀𝗃 to counter playing the Naga game, so we'll see how far this goes.
Yeah, and we saw it here last matchup, last game. Tsubaki went for the Hypoxia Toxic Ink on the 𝗧𝗲. However, 𝗧𝗏𝗶 read it really easily, swapping to Roller. Is that going to be the same thing this time? Does Tsubaki expect that? Does 𝗧𝗏𝗶 expect that Tsubaki expects it and keeps 𝗧𝗲 in and just WCLs the 𝗬𝗏? A lot of big mind games going into game number 2. Because maybe Tsubaki not trying to go into Roller, just tries to focus down the Valorant. But then if 𝗧𝗏𝗶 doesn't swap, that's going to be a feels bad moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, the mind games are real. Right now, 𝗧𝗏𝗶, I would say 𝗧𝗏𝗶 has an easier time with his backline than Tsubaki does. Of course, Tsubaki has the classic what you gonna do about it plus a 𝗧𝗲, but the fact that his 𝗀𝗪 is so tanky and only 𝗬𝗏 can deal with it, and 𝗬𝗏 is quite fast, this Naga is the glue that makes this such a problem. So we'll see how he gets through it. Both players considering playing for the second turn or playing for the immediate turn they have available.
Yeah, and with this Naga now being in the picture, it's really threatening. So the rotor could come out to play because the Naga is allowing that stone ball to be able to go first against the likes of 𝗬𝗬𝗪 and 𝗬𝗬𝗪 or 𝗬𝗲𝗪. So it looks like 𝗬𝗪𝗪 going for the exact same play, but Tsubaki, learning from the game before, makes a swap into the 𝗧𝗪. So not too bad. And wow, the beautiful read from Tsubaki. Fool me once, but not another time. So well done. Impressive stuff starting off the first turn.
For sure. So the damage, quite severe in the roller. Red completely right there. So this is 𝗬𝗪𝗪 losing that roller might be massive. Considering again, this Naga needs a partner, cannot survive on its own here.
Yeah, and Rotor's just threatened out, so
again.
Could only do one thing, and it's the cage, because he wasn't going to outspeed the WCL coming out from the 𝗧𝗪. But 𝗏𝗏𝗀 EM, is that enough? Yes, it is. So what does 𝗧𝗪 want to do?
The pickoff comes through, and the roller is sacrificed again. Shy Shield is pretty much free. 𝗧𝗪𝗪's bomb to follow, though. At least to punish the 𝗧𝗪 a little bit. Does a lot of chunking, but is not able to drop it below 50%. The Naga gets swapped in here for Rishi with a Volerend, so he's gonna go first and last.
Yeah, we'll see. First and last? Okay.
Volerend is very fast and Naga is very slow, so
very true.
They should go.
Something to note from the previous turn, the 𝗧𝗪 Shy Shield went first before the Volerend 𝗧𝗪's bomb, so now it will go the other way around. So 𝗧𝗪's bomb will connect on the 𝗧𝗪 before another Shy Shield, but of course, if Tsubaki-chan is running Frond Whip, that is a one prio move looking straight into Nagai's direction. Has 𝗬𝗪𝗪 been watching enough Tsubaki-chan games this tournament to know, is there a Frond Whip? We have yet to see it over here in the commentary booth, so we don't know for sure. I mean, it's a good technique to know on a 𝗧𝗪, so we'll see.
We've only seen Bush, Frond Whip, Bush, Water Current Lily, and Revitalize. We don't know the last
and Shy Shield though.
It's a Shy Shield. So there is no Frond Whip. So no tech here, so Rishi should know this. That's why the Naga is going to go first beta burst to do a lot of damage on the 𝗧𝗪, and then 𝗧𝗪's bomb to follow. So Rishi doing the right play, knowing exactly what was on the 𝗧𝗪. There is nothing the 𝗧𝗪 could do to stop its inevitable death. So Tornado, the best it can do is trade for damage here, and it does efficiently trade. 45% HP remaining on the Naga.
Yeah, it looks like that strange vest, biting himself in the bum just a little bit. Of course, really effective against the likes of 𝗬𝗬𝗪, but in that special attack, all that special attack going into defense, he does not want to get hit by a tornado. He definitely doesn't want to get hit by a crystal spike. That's going to be putting him out of commission. But for the time being, feels okay. However, 𝗬𝗪𝗪 coming out on this board. It's almost inevitable that the Naga has to take a leave here. It does not want to stay, as 𝗬𝗪𝗪 usually will be able to underspeed the Naga, aka go fast in that Deceit Aura environment. So we might be getting a good... Oh, it's only Golder and 𝗧𝗪. This is a tough spot Tsubaki's putting 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪 in, because 𝗏𝗏𝗪, if it wants to overexert, that would be a big hypoxia going into Golder or the 𝗧𝗪. So here it is. What does 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪 elect to do? It is the 𝗧𝗪.
𝗧𝗪 might be the potential sack here, but no Tsubaki reading a different plan. So 𝗬𝗪𝗪 will be swapped in instead with the 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪. So Toxic King for sure on that spot goes first. The 𝗧𝗪 will be taking that, but the 𝗬𝗪𝗪's coming in actually. A surprising move there. We'll see how it plays out. Does a decent chunk of damage. But now the 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪's going first here.
That is true. I'm trying to remember if 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 left the 𝗧𝗪 for one turn on the board, because if it came in on the swap and there was one turn before, then Bush is strictly online, able to clean out that one toxic tick and able to mitigate some damage if Tsubaki goes into 𝗧𝗪, but maybe not all that much. If you do a Bush, 𝗬𝗧𝗇 goes first, pops it with double gash, and then you still have a toxic ink staring you down, and then you get an additional the 2 toxic ticks since you cleaned up the toxic ticks with the bush. So maybe it doesn't even work out the way Mr. Rishi wants it to. So it's still another tough turn for Mr. Rishi, I want to say.
Watertongue Lily to be thrown down here, doing as much damage as possible to the 𝗬𝗏𝗏, but it's not going to be enough as the Crystal Bite to smack down the 𝗧𝗏𝗏 FG to seal the deal on the 𝗬𝗏𝗏, and it is. So the 𝗧𝗏𝗏 survives for another day, and the FG 𝗂𝗀𝗍𝗍 the Valorant. So 1 for 1, so to speak here. The 𝗧𝗏𝗏 is for sure dead, and it's not like swapping in Golder does any better for you. Of course, as Rishi, I think letting the 𝗧𝗏𝗏 go might be the best play. Or actually, that might... Watertongue Lily into the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 might be the play, preventing a Madness buff. But, again, Sharp Stab's also still available, so it might be a little bit too greedy.
Yeah, so Valorant did indeed overexert, so out comes the Valorant, in comes the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. This is a bit risky. Let's see how it plays out. So Sharp Stab does fly onto the 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, taking it out. Scavenger proc not gonna exist as you're already at 100%, but Tsubaki taking it up a notch. Here goes the Madness buff 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and there's not too much to deal with this guy. Let's see. I mean, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the Madness buff, who on Mr. Rishi's team is stopping it? I guess you got an anaerobic Valorant to try to take up some attacks. But these other guys, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is going to go down really fast. Golder could maybe take 2 of those at most, but following another attack from 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, maybe just 2 exact.
The last drill, let's go.
Oh, and we did see it was the Valorant from Mr. Rishi with the drill.
Rishi. So, I mean, that'd be some crazy tech. I doubt it, but it could be a play. Or 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 potential guy. No. Too crazy. Potentially not. But yeah, for the most part, 1 hit should kill the Naga, and C spikes or C bite should insta-give him. And probably the plan here for Mr. Rishi is swap out the Naga, bamboozle the Valorant probably, and then just hold the position from there. But I just find it really hard to see how he comes back into this. Not enough damage. Both Crystal Tems are very, very good against Toxic Tems. Of course, takes only half damage. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is resistant, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, well, he heals. So it's going to be a hard push.
Yeah, and for that Toxic Tem, as you mentioned, he still has the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in the back line when it's due time, but 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 retreats for the time being. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 gets put out, so I think Tsubaki's trying to read a swap, but everything stays put on Mr. Rishi's side, so 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 could be getting scotch-free. Oh, maybe read the lullaby.
Makes sense. Absolutely, lullaby completely useless, just laughed off completely by the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 being mental, and the double gash breaking the bamboozle. Of course, not the biggest deal in the world, but now lullaby is gone.
Yeah, lullaby is gone. It's at a 1-turn hold, so no even if he had it, it wouldn't even work here. I mean, chamomile is off now. It will come back if he swaps in a bit later, but it's just tough. I mean, Golder, we did see on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, it does about like 30% just damage, period, without the toxic ticks. So that's a little something. Maybe a beta burst on the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. If this was a Madness buff 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, I could see it being a bit more even, but the fact that it's not, and it could go down to something like another Tornado if it wants to go that way. Tornado did all this damage to begin with. A tough turn. So yeah, I mean, he could just go. I don't think a Crystal Bite kills though with that strange vest. So let's take a look. Bamboozle protecting the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for this turn. And whoa, Mr. Rishi playing living life on the edge. That 15% edge to be exact.
Oh, but the tornado follows through. Perhaps expecting another swap, or just expecting the Naga to live. That Madness buff was ambitious, but does not pay off.
Yeah, I think Mr. Rishi feeling a bit behind, trying to go for the riskier play, trying to say Tsubaki's going to retreat the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for now. get ready for the 𝗏𝗏, so I think Mr. Rishi feeling the pressure of being behind, trying to go with kind of the crazier play, see if it pays off. But no, 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗫 still in control, still in the driver's seat for this game number 2, and is looking pretty good to close it out. It's just the final 2 Temtems, 𝗂𝗀𝗺 and 𝗂𝗺, and Slowpoke 𝗂𝗀𝗺 for the time being, and anaerobic 𝗂𝗺. Can these 2 Temtems get it done?
What a twist of fate. The slower, more methodical strategy of playing with that Naga Deceit aura, losing out to the double trouble crystal duo. I mean, you know, in recent times we usually see the opposite, but the 𝗬𝗏𝗧 getting all in here, doesn't even die, has to rely on that toxic tick, but was inevitable, of course. And the 𝗏𝗏𝗧 comes in with a triumphant. I mean, if he had an AoE attack, he would get a double kill, but doesn't even wait for that. Tsubaki-chan takes the game. Alright, so here we go.
It looks like they're in turn number 8, so I don't know if this is game 2 or game 3. If anyone was keeping an eye on this game, let us know. But it looks like 2 Temtems down for Jomzy, 1 Temtem down, which is that size munch for Little Asia. Little Asia looking okay in terms of HP advantage. Has the 𝗂𝗏𝗃 full HP, the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is full HP.
𝗬𝗏𝗃 doesn't have a direct weakness, is the upside here. So 𝗬𝗏𝗃 has to carry, but this does not feel like the type of game that is very easy to carry, I will say. But 𝗬𝗏𝗃's tenderness, the technology there, completely nullifying that, and ooh, the counter tech, -1 attack for the 𝗬𝗏𝗃. Very smart move there. 𝗂𝗺 overexerts for that, and the hook kick shouldn't kill either one of these. The show off did nullify the toxic plume as well. So even though 2 times down, Jomzy is actually perfectly fine here.
Yeah, this 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is a serious problem for Ricky Tan. As you said, no direct answer on the side of Ricky. Can he bring it down? I mean, he has some crazy physical damage, Crystal Bite, Savage Suplex, online most likely for the Scrunch and the 𝗬𝗏𝗃s. But actually, wait a minute, Blue, we didn't get to see that. 𝗬𝗏𝗃s most likely ate a tenderness from this Machoke, so that's why I wasn't doing all that damage. I thought 𝗬𝗏𝗃 was just that bulky. But 𝗬𝗏𝗃's doing about 33% less than it would otherwise without that attack 1 down. So this is a bit tough position for Ricky Tan too. I mean, with the 𝗬𝗏𝗃s in the back, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 being chamomile, so those toxic ticks won't really be too impactful. This is so close. This is really close to call. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
The 𝗬𝗏𝗃, I mean, the tendernesses are eventually going to get to this 𝗬𝗏𝗃s. -2 attack already is so gigantic. Another C-Bite, really trying to get as much damage as possible to the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 before it goes too late. The Savage Suplex is tanked by the 𝗬𝗏𝗃s with no issues there. But yeah, this 𝗬𝗏𝗃s is gonna stop. It's gonna stop doing any damage, and the Machoke is still here. He's perfectly fine with this. Ricky is trying to ignore it to the best of his abilities, but tenderness takes no stamina, so it will do this all day.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you know, ignoring the Machoke might be a death sentence. Those tenderness bands could be a bit too much, as we're seeing 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is going 50% reduction and make that 60% reduction on that attack. This is getting a little bit disheartening 6%. For Ricky Tan.
Hibernate as well. Damage for what? 80% HP. Let's go. Strangle to shut it down. But you might as well not have a 𝗬𝗏𝗃s. It did 8% damage with a hook kick. That's one of its strongest moves. Literally the second strongest move in his kit.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe that initial Crystal Spike or Crystal Bite that connected onto 𝗬𝗏𝗃, maybe that needed to connect on Machoke, because Machoke just sitting back, chilling, and just going for that tenderness spam. And everything Ricky has is physical damage, so it's doing so much wonders for Jomzy. There goes the P-Jab, so getting ready for a huge Savage Suplex perhaps onto that 𝗂𝗏𝗃s.
right now. The Scunch has a lot of work to do. He has to kill the 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗫 here, but with sorry, actually no. Sorry, it has chamomile, so it's fine. Sorry, corrections. I thought I saw it with -1 attack, but I didn't realize he had a chamomile, so should be fine.
Yeah, of course, chamomile is expired now, so that's exactly why Jomzy's retreating it, so he's able to activate the chamomile later when he's able to bring it back onto the board. So the Firefish and the Tenderness 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗫 keeps on bringing the pressure, minusing, and oh my goodness, the Tenderness making the difference between kill and no kill. And 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗫 being at +4 speed, wow, is gonna be able to get off another one. So -1 attack on ETE the Scunch, and is able to get off even another one. That's gonna be a bit too hard to overcome for Ricky Tan. Had to get the kill there.
Painful. Yeah, this is so unfortunate. The 𝗬𝗫𝗏 isn't gonna do anything. The Scunch is gonna try its best, and all the 𝗂𝗏𝗏 can really do is make it a 1v1. So it is surmounting to something really difficult to push through, and the 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗫 doesn't even have to stay in. The 𝗬𝗫𝗏 can swap in, and the Scunch shouldn't do enough damage to really scare the 𝗬𝗫𝗏𝗏 in any way. Ninjutsu might be forced even, but again, I'm pretty sure Ricky understands it's too risky. If he ninjas the 𝗬𝗫𝗏𝗏 at -1 attack, then you lose your top priority move for nothing. So Jomzy swaps out the 𝗂𝗍𝗫 for the 𝗬𝗫𝗏 actually. Remember, the 𝗂𝗏𝗏 is OX tier, can't do anything, so might as well trade in that tempo. And the Tenderness again comes out here for the Scunch. Again, practically forcing it to swap after this perfect jab.
Yeah, I mean, I think 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗫 has done more than enough. I think that was 4 Tenderness spams as we were just tuning into this game. So can Ricky Tan bring it back? I mean, Jomzy, just 2 Temtems remaining to his name. ETE the Scunch does have Ninja Jutsu online. I think Ninja Jutsu closes it out onto the Scunch, and then it's a 3v1. If you're able to outlast the chamomile, 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 perhaps able to deal it with toxic ticks. But take a look at this. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is doing just 40% what it normally does. Scunch doing 50% what it normally does. And 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 at -1 defense. 1 savage suplex from this 𝗬𝗏𝗏 should end the 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 stay here in this game number 2. So this is a tricky, I mean, on paper, Ricky Tan has the more attempts, but due to these debuffs, it's a lot closer than it seems, because 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is still kicking. No debuffs, no buffs. Just sitting pretty at 74 HP.
Right now, Scunch forced to swap out. I mean, Ninja Jutsu kill on the core and swap out potentially. But does get the kill on the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, and the trade is there. Sorry, my screen bugged, so I am stuck at like a frozen swap screen. Let me. Oh no, I crashed. No.
Did it let us know if it gets you back in? But Blue, I could try to keep you up to pace. So 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏, ignoring the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 because comebacker would have indeed killed it. Does go after the 𝗂𝗍𝗫, and I guess just letting the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏s go. But this is a 2v1. Chamomile still has 2 turns, and the stamina is still looking so good. What item? Oh yeah, of course, chamomile on. But man, how much stamina does this 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 have? Because he's able to just give out relentless pressure. I think Yogi the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 definitely wins this, as he's able to one-shot 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏s with a single clinch. And then, oh, wait. Of course, ETE had to swap out there, so the chamomile brings his attack back up. Okay. If there's a chance, it would be this. However, the HP is a bit different. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 a bit tankier. But maybe Scunch the heavier hitter. There's no resistance badge. One of them has brawny. Okay.
I mean, what a classic David versus Goliath situation here. I'm finally back in, and 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 Scunch versus this 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. And a little bit of spoilers in my situation. perfect jab was played, and the Oshidashi was traded for the 𝗂𝗶𝗴 kill. So there goes that.
Alright, so this is do or die. Yowler is at -1 defense. I think Ricky has to one-shot. No!
It was so close. 7 suplexes traded and a heartbreaking loss. God damn, that was close.
Yeah, super close. He had to go for the Hail Mary play because comebacker is a real thing. If you don't kill it, he's gonna come for you.
How he plays differently in this scenario.
Alright, so we're seeing the full teams here as we saw in the previous quarterfinals. So very similar teams, both having that 𝗧𝗵𝗶 fish, or sorry, no, forgive me. So only one of them having the fire 𝗂𝗀𝗆, but both have the 𝗧𝗃, the Scunch, the Vola, the 𝗵𝗺𝗀𝗆. So really similar, but definitely has a bit differences. So 𝗧𝗵𝗃 on the side of Ricky Tan. And what an aggressive opener coming from Jomzy. You got your fire 𝗂𝗀𝗆, you got your Scunch. It almost makes Ricky Tan want to go into 𝗵𝗺𝗀𝗆 for that Scunch, but I don't think Ricky Tan is trying to grow that way. What is the downside though? Maybe you take a bit too much damage from the 𝗧𝗵𝗃.
That could potentially be the problem here. I mean, Jomzy opening with such a shotgun opening, and Ricky playing it a little bit safe with the Volarend may not have the right sort of counter exactly here. So picks up the 𝗧𝗵𝗃 instead. But that's really brave, actually. This is probably the worst dynamic duo to face as a 𝗧𝗵𝗃.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a bit strange. Of course, the 𝗂𝗀𝗆 has a water cannon. If he swaps in a 𝗧𝗃, if he swaps in a Volarend, then that's going to add an additional 2 ticks of Toxic onto the 𝗧𝗵𝗃. Unless if I remember, actually no, the 𝗂𝗵𝗆 was on the Scunch, so yeah, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 does not have a 𝗂𝗵𝗆. So yeah, Blue, really interesting. Let's see exactly why he wanted to go with the 𝗧𝗵𝗃. You know, there's not even that many Earth or Crystal Temtems on Jomzy's side, so is it more for the 𝗫𝗫, more for the uppercuts? But I'm not too sure. I mean, as we said, there's no Crystal or Earth Temtems on Jomzy, so maybe he just feels really confident with his 𝗧𝗵𝗃 ability. We'll see. We'll see if Ricky Tan does indeed pick it right, because that's what he locked in. There's no takebacks here.
𝗧𝗃, Volarend, and 𝗬𝗟𝗟, 𝗧𝗃 here. Now, Jomzy's 𝗧𝗃 did so much. If that 𝗧𝗃 died like 2 turns earlier, I feel like Ricky would have definitely had that game, but unfortunately, he committed into the Yowler, perhaps had no info on the Hibernates. So, fortunately, it is banned this time, so a bit more of a harder fight, I would think, for Jomzy, but definitely getting the turn 1 tempo is going to be big here. Grandpa will be the last pickup. We'll see who makes it to the finals. Will it be Ricky Tan or will it be Jomzy? We'll have to find out.
That is right. Finding out in the very last game of our semifinals. It is game 3, as we keep saying, do or die time match point. Ricky Tan or Jomzy, who is taking it? Let's see. I mean, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 doesn't have too much to do. It could go for a heat up, but I want to say that's so risky. A water cannon brought in here with the 𝗧𝗃 or Volarend is going to easily do over 50%, followed by those toxic ticks. Take him somewhere in that orange HP health. So what can he try to eat that with? I'm thinking of 𝗧𝗃. 𝗧𝗃 doesn't feel all that bad. You really eat that water cannon. But with that knowledge, maybe Jomzy just wants to go into the Volarend, something like a P-Jab 𝗧𝗃𝗏, but no, the Scunch retreats, interesting enough.
Yeah, Scunch swapped out for the 𝗧𝗃 here for that synergy bonus, mind you. Water cannon to do more damage, plus the toxic inks. The 𝗧𝗃 gets swapped in though, so double 𝗧𝗃 swap in with a heat up on the 𝗧𝗵𝗃. And now water cannon to follow through, and this is going to sting. Actually, that's a really tanky 𝗧𝗵𝗃. Just absorb that hit like a champ.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's definitely a handful of special defense, followed by that double screen mitigating 10% additional damage, followed from a double typing, which is what 𝗂𝗀𝗃 is. So very well done. Did get a heat up. How much impact is it going to have? I mean, 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶, that's online. Is it able to one-shot 𝗂𝗀𝗃? I think being neutral damage, I think too much to ask from 𝗬𝗂𝗽𝗃 here. I think 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 wants to retreat it and just try to dish out some big uppercuts down the road, because I think he might be going down if he stays in. What can he bring in? I guess the 𝗬𝗃 feels... Oh, no. The 𝗬𝗃 is on the board. Oh.
Yeah, the 𝗬𝗃 is already here, so this is a bit weird.
Yeah, a tough turn for 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 here. I feel like that spot is a bit vulnerable right now. I guess it could be 𝗬𝗀𝗻, but if Jomzy wants to read it, a P-jab 𝗧𝗏𝗺, that's gonna be vicious attack into 𝗬𝗀𝗻, maybe over 50% for sure. And Jomzy doesn't have too much pressure going his way, right? I mean, an uppercut followed by a Yurshou on the 𝗂𝗀𝗃 kind of does a good amount, but I don't think it's enough for 100 all the way down to 0. So let's see what goes down. This is a very... Oh, a cage. Okay, maybe ready to sacrifice this 𝗧𝗵𝗃.
𝗧𝗵𝗃 rock bottom to throw down and do as much damage as possible. The 𝗂𝗀𝗃 gets low and the cage is actually going to be interesting here. Tenderness to throw down to the monkey will be taking that in kind, but the water cannon should kill, so that tenderness a little bit wasted. But investment into the damage, we'll see how that translates later into the game. That is a big sacrifice.
Alright, so does keep everything into the board, so keeping everything straightforward. You know, nothing can swap out, so 𝗬𝗀𝗻 coming in for free. Is it able to go first before the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 physical damage coming onto it? I think so. I think Ricky Tan definitely likes the speedy temp, so a Noxious Bomb should clean up the 𝗂𝗀𝗃. And then I guess the best 𝗬𝗃 can do, maybe something like a P-jab onto the 𝗬𝗀𝗻. Or the 𝗬𝗃, not too bad, but you have both of these wind temps for the 𝗬𝗃, so maybe on the 𝗬𝗀𝗻 a bit more impactful. You also could get a Yurshou synergy. Yurshou synergy onto the 𝗂𝗀𝗃 doesn't feel that bad. However, I think the Yurshou synergy is going to give the 𝗂𝗀𝗃 another attack. Well, Ricky Tan gotta go fast, so going faster indeed, +2 speed on both of these Tems.
Noxious Bomb to kill off the 𝗂𝗀𝗃 here for sure. So fortunately, it does get that damage done. The tenderness onto the 𝗬𝗃 on the side of Ricky Tan is going to definitely have its lasting effects. But as long as you can get perfect jabs off, it should be fine. The Grandpa swaps in here now to pretty much scare away this 𝗬𝗃. Ricky probably doesn't want to keep this in. 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃. Again, still, I would say he's still a foot down, or a tempo down here in the sense. But HKS is actually gonna fall through.
Oh, and it does. I think Jomzy was trying to go for a turbo choreography of his own, but Ricky Tan's previous turbo getting the better. So Grandpa perhaps just a simple wind burst onto the 𝗬𝗃 is about the most he can do, but that was big. That was actually huge. If Jomzy was able to get off a turbo choreography of his own, that Grandpa would have been devastating amount of damage onto the 𝗬𝗃, so much so to one-shot the 𝗬𝗃 with the HKS. So well done, Ricky Tan, pulling a bit ahead there with that 𝗬𝗃 kill, negating or rejecting that turbo choreography onto the Grandpa. And it looks like it's 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗶. I like it.
Absolutely. So this is a little bit problematic now. I mean, I say a little bit. This is a lot problematic. A full Tem down with not really anything to show for it. Yes, the Scunch is here, but there's still a 𝗬𝗨𝗃𝗃, and there's still a mirror match to Scunch as well on the opposing force. So this is a bit of a struggle to fight back for. 𝗬𝗀𝗻 swapped in here. The Grandpa will have to do a lot of damage, but because he is not up Tems, this is going to be difficult. HKS to throw down onto this 𝗬𝗀𝗻. Remember, -1 special defense. does 40%. I thought he would do more, but
yeah, that just comes down to the flat base speed. There's no increase 1 or increase 2 as we would have seen if the 𝗏𝗃 survived. So yeah, a lot less. And you're right, Blue, that was a -1 defense. I definitely thought it'd do more. Maybe not a full speed investment, Grandpa, but definitely not as much as we would have expected. I honestly thought maybe a turbo play from Grandpa was going to come out that play, but just wanted to go, you know, more on the offensive. Damage is damage, and out comes the Scunch ready to play. How much can he do?
Hypnosis on the 𝗬𝗪𝗓, so at least buys himself a free turn here to put out this Blizzard. Now, this Blizzard previously did a lot of damage, and that is the special attack investment shining through there for the Eric Volerand. And, you know, that isn't a strange TV spread. Instead of buffing the speed, you buff the special attack, so the rest of your arsenal does more damage, of course. So, not a bad trade-off, but still, this Grandpa is not going to live this turn. Or, if there's a swap, the Scunch will live at, like, red HP. So, this is gonna be a bit weird. I don't know what Jomzy wants to do here, still in the back foot. Unless 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 kills something before it gets to move, then definitely the advantage there, but the trade will probably still come.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that that's a special attack Volerand, so it was a Blizzard, so obviously most likely has a Tornado, so Tornado HKS might be coming onto one of these Temtems, but no, it might be the double HKS, so Scunch going from 69 all the way to 17. Almost certain that the next HKS will eliminate the Scunch from existence, and yeah, see you later, Scunch. Down he falls. But can the 𝗬𝗪𝗓 get a final kill on this Grandpa? I think the answer will be yes.
The 1-for-1, again, not favoring Jomzy at all here. Still, actually, not that crazy. There's still a Scunch in the back, could potentially still play. But of course, 𝗏𝗃 being, well, 𝗏𝗃, you can just tenderness it away for the most part. So, Volerand swap in here, probably gonna come out for Ricky, and then just all in kill the Volerand maybe on the side of Jomzy, and it'll probably get you the win.
Yeah, you're saying Ricky Tan bring out the Volerand right here?
Yeah, I think Volerand 𝗬𝗪𝗓 and then all in on the Volerand should kill it off, or at least get it damn close. I think ignoring the Scunch is probably the play here. It's just really hard to punish it with 𝗬𝗪𝗓 being your secondary and Crystal Bite being already off the table.
Yeah, and taking a look, so Jomzy just used his HKS last turn, so we know that's not online. However, if it is indeed a special attack Volerand, maybe it does have a Tornado. We saw Blizzard come out. Maybe the Blizzard is there for those Nagai's players, so just trying to have that one prior move for that Deceit or environment, but none of that going on this game. So we'll see if it does indeed have something like that 3 prior Tornado, or maybe just a good old Feather Gatling coming its way. But yeah, this is an interesting play. I think I don't think Ricky Tan has HKS online. So what can he do? I mean, something like FG. Yeah, this is a tough play, right? FG Sharp Stab. I mean, Hook Kick could also go into Volerand instead of the Scunch, but I don't think that does 91. But damn it. Oh, Ricky Tan does have the HKS. I misspoke. Forgive me. So all the way down it almost goes.
Absolutely brutal damage source there. Hook Kick to follow, and that should seal the deal. There is no way the Scunch 1v3s in this scenario. He can kill the Volerand all he wants, but there's no way he kills 𝗬𝗪𝗓 and the 𝗏𝗃 with counter Scunch by himself. No chamomile to speak of, so can't clear those status effects out even.
And you know what, Blue? Interesting enough, I think Jomzy rested because Volerand was at +2 speed. There's no way a Hook Kick would have outsped the Volerand unless he went for Blizzard again. Maybe the Blizzard outsped or undersped. Because he was at +2, I was expecting at least one final attack from the Volerand. But I think you're absolutely right, Blue. A Scunch versus the 𝗏𝗃 of Volerand. It's a bit too much, and making matters worse, that is a -1 attack Scunch, so not going to be able to do too much down the road.
Crystal Bite connects onto the Scunch and the Savage Suplex to do as much damage as possible, but you can already see the impact -1 attack has not even 50% damage on a Gyalis, and this is looking very inevitable.
Yeah, Voldrin didn't overexert there. That HKS will clean it up, but I think a Sharp Stab. Gyalis hasn't overexerted, so a Sharp Stab to try to clean it up. Scunch does have a Ninja Jutsu, but being -1 attack is not going to be able to get a kill on the Gyalis, so I think Gyalis has that final hoorah, final Sharp Stabs, and I think Ricky Tan going all the way to the finals. So let's see if Ricky Tan will be the tamer to stop the tear. Tsubaki-chan is on. That is our finals, everyone. Ricky Tan versus Tsubaki. Who is going to take the first tournament of the new Smazee season for this year? I'm excited.